Hey, welcome to the new Toxic Tom Studios. The day's a big day for me. The day I actually celebrate 3 years of sobriety. 3 years ago, about this time, I finally admitted I had a problem. I mean, I've always had a problem, but I was finally ready to do something about it. So I made the calls. I kept it secret from my family. I just locked myself in the room and started making calls. I called people at work. I called the VA. I called this PTSD group that I belong to, and I told them all, the first one to get me a bed, I'm gone. I'm ready to go. And they all worked on it. And my job came through. They actually had this program called Red Block, and they help you with substance abuse. And they got me a bed in Salt Lake City. And I couldn't be more appreciated for that. I mean, they pretty much saved my life. I was drinking every damn day. I was sneaking it everywhere. And my family was going through a hell of a roller coaster with me because, I mean, every day I was missing work. Wake up in the morning, I had to drink. You know, and sometimes you drink too much, you got it coming out both ends, and both ends are wet. It ain't fun. So today is my, I guess I was like reborn 3 years ago on today. Today's the day I made the decision to stop drinking and go to a treatment center and get the help that I needed. Because I've always told myself, I can do this, I'll cut back. I couldn't do that. I try it for a couple days and I go right back to it. And I actually needed to go to an in treatment. I actually needed to get things fixed up here. I have a loving, supporting family. And if it wasn't for them, I know I wouldn't have made it through this. I put my wife and kids through hell with all my drinking. And I want to thank them all from the bottom of my heart for helping me out. I especially like to thank my mother for helping me out, because she was out here visiting, and I didn't tell her what my plans were. She was getting ready to go back home. And then on a Sunday, I tossed her the question, do you mind staying? I'm going to an in-treatment program. And she was more than happy to do it. That was another thing that was holding me back. My wife at the time didn't drive and had two young kids, and how am I going to get them food, supplies, take them to school, and do all these different things while I'm gone for 30 or 60 days? You know, I didn't know how long I was going to be gone for. And I really don't have that many people here to rely on, that I can constantly rely on. I do now, after going through the program and seeing what I actually have here, really opened my eyes. But at the time, I was just narrow-minded, narrow vision. So I would like to thank my mom again for that, and her husband for allowing her to stay. So I got heavily back into the big book again, because over the last 2 months, we're trying to buy this house. I'm in a brand new house now. I mean, this year's been great, heads up and downs, but you know, I started joking, like, with all the stress of buying a house, I should just get me a bottle, you know, because I've always used any excuse to drink. That's all it took, just an excuse. I just made shit up and I would drink. I'd be mad about something and drink, or excited and celebrate and drink. But I don't do that anymore. I've found other avenues of approach to do other things to keep my mind off doing dumb shit. My wife is happy. I know my kids are happy. I mean, they got their dad and their husband back. You know, they don't have that damn drunk promising the whole world and not giving them shit. Because I would spend it all on booze and I'd go to work and not make any money. So I would definitely like to thank them. Speaking of the big book, got back into that. I got away from it for like a year and a half, and I was white knuckling it. And then I started listening to these speakers meetings on YouTube. YouTube's a great resource to find stuff. And these guys are talking about like, you're never cured, which I am. I'm never cured. But by not going to the meetings, you set yourself up for failure. You need to go back into the rooms, into the meetings. You don't have to really participate, but at least listen. Listen to the stories. You'll put some two and two together, and hell, I did that, or hell, I thought about doing that, or that's happened to me. You know? So I finally got a sponsor after 3 years. And I started working some of the steps yesterday. I had a nice conversation with my sponsor. We read the first couple, the prefix and the first, then Dr. Bill's notes and Dr. Bill's story, and went on from there, and then discussed like life experiences between me and him. He's a little older than me, but you know, we still grew up in the 70s and 80s, and you know, we had a few things in common, but you don't need to have stuff that much in common. The biggest thing we have in common is we're both alcoholics and we quit. And you got to take it one day at a time, and you got to talk to like-minded people. And then when I came home last night, after that, I went and joined a Zoom meeting with the PTSD group that I belong to, and that was great. I haven't done that in a couple of years either, and I've been wanting to do it, but I don't have time to drive down to Lake Elsinore, but now they got it on a Zoom, and wow, that makes a big difference. Like with my work schedule and all that, I could probably make one of those meetings at least once a month or twice a month. Ended up meeting this really cool guy on there. He served in the Army, but after everybody was done talking, we hung out and talked. He was having hard times. I just went through some hard times, and we talked, and we found out we both have some similar interests, like playing with digital media, photography, drones, and things like that. So we talked for about an hour and a half. I didn't even know the guy from Adam. I didn't know who the hell he was, but we had a lot in common. We just talked. It was good. It was good for me. I know it was good for him. So if there's any veterans out there or on my Facebook, and you're going through hard times, especially with alcohol or depression, PTSD, anxiety, please feel free to reach out to me. I've gone through this. I'm still going through it. I'm working the steps, but I have an ear. I'll listen to what you got to say, and if you want my opinion, I'll give it to you. But don't take the route of 22 a day. That's not the way to go. There's a few gentlemen in that room last night that were talking about some of that stuff, and personally, I've had friends that have committed suicide, and that really hurts, man. You know, I had a chaplain tell me once, if you commit suicide, you're a fucking pussy. Because you leave all that damage for all your loved ones to put back together, especially if you got young kids and things like that. Because kids can't comprehend, like, why did somebody kill themselves? Like, daddy's gone or mommy's gone. That's all they know until they get older, and then they figure it out. But the whole time they're young, they're still looking for their dad. They miss their dad or their mother, or, you know, aunts and uncles, grandparents have done the same things. So please feel free to reach out to me. If you don't have my phone number, just instant message me, and I'll give you my number. Work a funny schedule, you know. I work for the railroad, so I never know if I'm coming or going, but I promise you this, I will return your phone call. I will respond to your text or your instant message. And if we have to set up like a little Zoom or a FaceTime thing, I'm more than happy to do that for my brothers and sisters out there, all right? Everybody stay safe and keep believing in the higher power. I believe in God, but use your higher power to get you through whatever you're going through. Take care. Bye.